I feel bad, like I'm not as excited about it as you want me to.
That's a cool performance. Heart, Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin, Kennedy Center. It's when they got their Lifetime Achievement Awards. They're crying. It's good. It's makes me feel good.
I feel like that's one of those videos like you watched the first time, like all sauced up, and it like dug into your brain.
No, what it is, and also I skipped around. I caught just a, on whatever social media of just when the curtain goes up, of the choir going, and I was like, it took me a little bit to find it and figure out what it was, and then I found it. I was like, it's good. But yeah, was I sauced up? Probably, very possibly.
So we're back on our home territory here.
We are in not a new studio, but a resurgence.
Revamped.
We're messing with some lighting, moved some stuff around that needed to be moved. Because now we have a relaxation spot over there off camera. If we,
If we're podding so hard, I need to lay down.
I'm about to pass out. Got to lay down. Maybe one day for the Patreon, we'll do a lay episode. I'll lay. It's okay. We'll just have to put a curtain so they can't see our laundry and stuff behind it. But
another green screen.
But yeah, so it's been a little bit.
It feels dark, doesn't it?
It feels darker than
the lighting looks good, I'm sure, but it does feel dark.
It does. But you like dark. You're like a goddamn vampire.
I do love the dark. I do.
There's times like when I'd come home and be in the basement, I was like, dude, I got to turn some of these lights on. And I know it would piss you off. But I was like, dude, I'm not acclimated.
Yeah. No, I've gotten it before from other people.
Especially that's your area, and
I know where everything is.
Yeah, and which is going to bring up the subject I wanted to talk about. So that basement was your sacred spot, and you literally knew the foot trafficking, tables. You had TVs taped to things that shouldn't have been taped to.
Crackhead shit. Yeah,
some crackhead shit.
For sure.
Which is what I deemed it. And you wear glasses and contacts. And Rachel asked this, and it's funny that I've just looked past it now for so long, and I go, good question. I have here Steven's glass case that he leaves here, because you like to leave glasses here often enough. He's always putting tape on things like he's a shaman, that these symbols mean something. What is that? What does it stand for? NH plus?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I feel
none of your initials?
I got 2 pairs of glasses at the same time.
Okay.
And I think I designated one for, like, not downstairs. So the case, because I had 2 separate
does it maybe
cases.
stand for night?
I think so. That was like my in-the-house glasses.
Okay.
But nevertheless, the purpose of it was to designate, without having to open the glass case, which pair was which.
Okay. Because you do that with a lot of stuff.
It's still crazy, though.
It's a little crazy. And, it's not even just, you know what?
It doesn't.
Because, like, I would just, like, a sticker of something to designate it. Like, we have 2 remotes upstairs. We have 2 TVs. We just put it was a funny hippo sticker on the back. But you took the time to rip the tape long ways to spell out something.
Thin pieces and everything.
And then to do a decorative back, which...
Well, once you got the tape going, because, I mean, like, you with with your lacrosse gear and shit, like, it's fun tape and stuff.
Yes. Now, with my lacrosse stuff, it kind of served a purpose. That tape is very
Well, that serves a purpose, too.
It does serve a purpose. Mine was very... I had to do it every time it rained and stuff. But
if you went through my catalog of taping... That is one of the more normal.
I was gonna say
that's that's nothing.
As much taping as you do, not that great at it.
No. You're
a little sloppy with it.
It's all for functionality, and then most of the time when I would do it, like a week later, I'd be like, "This isn't serving a purpose."
Especially when you use like the good Gorilla Tape on something.
Yeah.
See, I'm very preoccupied. I'm very I'm anal about it. I know where the tapes go, and like even if I have a cut. I already know how it's going to be taped.
That is primo tape. The Black Gorilla
tape. You can't beat Gorilla Tape. If you have a decent cut on a hand, Gorilla Tape and a paper towel, there's no bandage better than that.
No, especially on the hands. If it's something that needs to be wrapped around and you still need to use your fingers, definitely.
That's basically
that's the old construction worker trick.
Yeah.
One of the few things Dad taught us growing up, one of the useful things.
Like because I've done it a couple, have some decent cuts on a finger, and they take a long time to heal because you're moving it. I basically just cast the whole finger. You know what I mean? And I'm just like my middle finger. I'll even bend what I'm doing. I'll bend my finger so it kind of has a little bit of a permanent bend in it, so the hand's still functional.
Look at this. Speaking of finger cuts, for the people, I have a cut
on the same. Are you lifting weights?
Two opposite thumbs. No, you'll never guess. It was a household chore that I was doing that I never do. That
cleaning the windowsills?
No, you're not gonna guess. I'll just tell you because Rachel's been sick, and I didn't want to catch COVID. I haven't come over to do laundry, and I had laundry backing up, and like, I don't like to go past 3 loads at a time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
and fuck going to a public laundry. It's so expensive and doesn't work half the time.
Why do that? And also doing laundry at like a laundromat is expensive as shit.
You gotta have 1,000 quarters.
And I'm not. So I did like my towels and rags and stuff in the bathtub.
Did you just get in there and rub them together like old school?
Yeah. Fill it up with hot ass water. You know, put some soap in there, let it sit a little bit, and then, you know.
I've done that in college when I was living at the apartment. A little bit in now it was just like my practice clothes, so it didn't be perfect, but I'd get a shower and then do it, but I would just kind of like use my feet to like wash it. I kind of just stomp the soap in there and then stomp it out. And
the water was like gnarly, so clearly this was effective.
Hey, that's the reason they did it for a long time that way.
As you do, you still pay people like in India, they pay like peasant people. They have a caste system, and they fucking that's like their job every day.
They're slapping it on a rock.
Go down to the river.
I want a good rock cleaning on my stuff.
But anyway, a tip to the people out there: if you're gonna hand wash towels, you got to wring those motherfuckers out. And from so much wringing, it cut my
your
shit
hands
open.
Because you're doing it, so your hands are
wet.
Yeah, and got a little pruny and stuff, so the skin starts to break down.
So it is not light work.
Hey,
towels are very absorbent, and they'll never dry if you don't get them pretty wrung out.
Yeah, because if you do a half-ass job wringing,
it'll take days.
You can have the best. Yeah, a clothesline. I think it's gonna take days.
It'll smell sour. It just won't even. Yeah, but
So wringing a towel injury.
Yeah,
because to show how soft his hands are out there, guys.
I was just gonna say that I've got very prissy hands,
which makes you think we're watching Game of Thrones right now.
Yeah,
and it's funny because we'll be watching. Rachel will be like, "Well, back then, and I was like, fictional. I get what you're saying. It's kind of timepiecey.
Well, it is fictional, but there's a time period.
Yeah, it's just funny because she'll be like, "Do you really think?" And I was like, "Well, in Game of Thrones, yes."
That's the beauty of the fantasy setting. You can do whatever. You don't have to be historically accurate.
But yeah, I mean, those jobs. There's a movie where like it's all based around the mom does the laundry for like the queen or something. But yeah, dude, I mean that bitch's hands must be gnarly.
Well, that's what I thought when my hands were. I was like, there is some grandmother in India right now who could do this all day.
And forearms as big as my cat.
Dude, I was sweating my ass off.
Yeah.
But I sweat my ass off all the time. But
you're using hot water. Yeah.
But I'm just glad Rachel's better because I don't really want to do that again.
No. You know what? It's humbling. Sometimes you got to do some of that stuff to make you appreciate the the timepiece we live in.
The accommodations we have. That's why we need to keep drilling oil. Not to get political here.
Drill, baby, drill.
We can't, we can't just let the rest of the world get rich on oil while we don't do it.
I'll tell you what. I was thinking about this the other day, and this random thing pop, whatever. Is when we had Thanksgiving here at the house, talking about like
which Thanksgiving this year?
No, the one we had at this house. So that was like 4 years ago. Remember we had all the tables.
Families got together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We were like sitting on coolers and stuff, but we're going around and Rachel's family tradition, which we didn't really do too much, is what are you thankful for? And it goes oldest to youngest or whatever. And I said it kind of jokingly. But no one even acknowledged it, but I wasn't joking. The first thing I said, because, at the time everyone's like, thankful for mom's health, old people's health or whatever. I said, I'm thankful for indoor plumbing. And I said it jokingly, but I didn't even get acknowledged of a sincere thing or a joking thing. And then the rest of it, I was like, I don't know, hell, thanks, next, please.
So it was basically bombing.
Yeah, but I didn't mean it to be like, obviously it's kind of jokish, but I was like, everything's taken. We're all saying the same thing. And
you know what it was?
There's a generation of people here that didn't have that over in Indonesia.
Well, in Indonesia, yeah, but it's because you didn't commit. You weren't going for joke, but you weren't going for full serious, and it just didn't land.
It would be weird to do full serious on that. You know what I mean? Like if I was
definitely. That's why nobody reacted, because when everyone's going around this table, they're like,
and it does get pretty emotional there. It is kind of like when people are going around,
it can.
Because there's some older people there, and there's like the two families having the first Thanksgiving together, kind of. Mm-hmm. Our oven broke, so we're just lucky to have food. But
one of the worst things about the Thanksgiving family gathering is that it's always so fucking hot.
Yeah, because the cooking's going on.
It doesn't matter where your house is, unless you've got a gigantic kitchen and separate dining room with vaulted ceilings.
And it's always...
And I don't like sweating around people that aren't used to the fact that I sweat.
Like I am with a lot of things, you look into it. You think about it way more than anyone else does.
Yeah. I'm like scarred from when I was real heavy. It's like... It's the only thing currently in my life right now, I think, that could still... I haven't had a panic attack since like high school. Actually, no. One time I smoked a blunt and fucking had some kind of panic attack. That's why I got a scar around my eye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but anywho, sweating can put me into a mini panic attack where because now I don't even have the fat thing where I could be like, this makes sense.
When you sweat from your face...
Only from my face, dude.
And then so it, when you sweat from your face, it itches. So then you're doing this, and then you have the hair, so you're brushing it back in your hair. So I'll like look at you. I'm like, I don't even see sweat, but it's like
my hair. And
he's like going at and you don't do things gently. No. Everything your soda cans always have a dent in them. Yeah. Cigarettes are always got a smash in it.
Yeah, I do. Go full bore.
When you play video games, I don't even like you using my controllers because I'm like, dude,
they last. If I get a controller that lasts 6 months, that's...
You can hear buttons go.
Yeah, I like crank them and shit. You're right. You're totally right.
You think you have better forearms, though, as much as you squeeze things.
I know. I'm a puny little bitch. I feel like I've hit an age where like I would have to do some
testosterone repairment.
Maybe something like that. Like
I keep telling myself I have stuff. I keep telling myself it's very minor, like it was something you got online, but I think it's just a little bit of a T-boost. I'm like, I should do that to see if it helps.
I would honestly, for me, I would like to consult a doctor before I did that.
This is, maybe.
Because for all I know, my testosterone levels are fine, and I just am not, I've never been able to get big arms.
No, genetically.
Even when I worked out.
Our forearms, and that's as I get from Dad, I see it in him too, we don't, I can get a little bit of a tricep. Like when I was in football, I noticed a little tricep line. Never had a bicep, but I can. Dad, you did have some big forearms. Like I have bigger forearms than I do biceps.
You're right. Yeah. Even when he was in his peak physical condition, he wasn't like gunned up.
Never had the biceps, but he had he had some vice grips on him.
Yeah. Well, going back to the construction worker hands.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to feel bad like when I was younger. He tried to tickle you, and I'm like, "Ow, dude! This is you're just trying to be dad time playing." And it's like, "Ow!"
And he would hurt himself all the time. Like you say, I'm rough. Just I have no finesse.
Yeah.
About me. Hence, like I picking up a guitar and shit. Like I don't have fancy fingers. He would have some gnarly cuts and fucking.
Oh yeah. We walking down like, Dad, your leg's bleeding. It's like, what? Oh,
yeah.
And I have that a little bit about me too. I clank my. It's funny. I was just thinking, because they ask on Are You Garbage? Great show, guys. Have us on. One of the questions is do you come from a family where you take shoes off in the house?
Yeah,
we came from a strict household of that because our mom was a clean freak and got on her hands and knees every 2 days basically. And
up until the very end of her cancer, ailments.
And it's funny too because
it calmed her down, dude.
It calmed her down. It is lethargic when you start with
cathartic.
Lethargic
is like feeling tired.
Yeah. Well, it's that too. It gets you tired out.
Yeah,
but
true, technically,
once you start, it's the finishing of something that feels good. But also her, she was just a little. She was scarred as a child cleaning. But yeah, we came from strict no shoes on in the house. But you wear now that's your indoor shoes. It's kind of like Mr. Rogers. But
It's funny that she adapted to that. Like I thought being around her with the slipper or the moccasins on, that it would be like a thing for her. She didn't mind.
Now you did well. Sometimes groceries come, you will have those shoes on and go outside to grab the groceries.
Yeah,
but for
I
the most
try not to, but yeah,
for the most part, you kind of do have your inside shoes. But it's just one because I hate shoes. The second I can take my shoes and socks off,
you go no socks.
Yeah,
and to me that's insanity.
I love my little tootsies out, and I got gross feet. I shouldn't be that way, but I love it.
Well, no, because when you have bare feet, you like stuff sticks to your feet.
That is annoying,
and it's fucking. I just don't like that feeling at all.
Yeah. It's
socks. I'm fine. I don't need to have my mocks on.
Up until I started having to do my own laundry, like second year of college, it was always I'd get home and when you would take the cushions off, couch cushions off, once a week there would just be 12 pairs of socks shoved in there because I'd get home, from whatever, take my socks off and just shove, not even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But,
it is.
Especially when you're playing lacrosse and your fucking feet are like.
Well, I always I overpacked even for sports. Like I don't keep gross socks on. I had it after practice, and I started showering. Like I remember kids in high school being like, they didn't shower, and I was like, dude, if I can just rinse my nuts and feet off, I'm gonna feel so much better.
Why don't you do that now?
Well, I'm not playing lacrosse anymore.
Okay. Well, no, we talked about that on the one episode. How you like to dry your nuts.
I have a routine that's not the best, but
that would be a good fucking "Are You Garbage" entry. Do you ever spot dry your nuts with a towel?
Yeah, do a whore's bath.
Yeah,
dogs are barking upstairs. Something's happening.
He's gonna start again.
He's gonna start again. Sorry, guys. If you hear a dog, it's our dogs.
It's one of those things. Like I watch enough podcasts where like you hear dog in the background every once in a while, but that was like just chain barking. It's obnoxious.
It's the kids outside, man. I like that in my neighborhood, and this has probably been talked about on this podcast a couple times. I love that in my neighborhood the kids play outside. The parents, you can especially next door, they make him go outside, which is good. I want that for that generation.
You don't see it much anymore.
But like,
they go. It's because your houses are right on the. They're like right up on the road. Almost.
But they don't like to play in front of like their houses because especially when they're out back, I know that they're hiding because the way the backyard, like they're hiding. They're doing some stuff. They're
doing some teenager shit.
Well, they're not even teenagers yet, and even if it is just throwing rocks at a tree, I'm all for that. Get that pitching arm up. But like, because when they know the dogs are barking, they start to antagonize my dogs a little bit. They find it funny.
You think that, or
Rachel? A little bit. I'm not saying
at least a little bit.
That's a problem. That's not cool, man.
And they're getting older. And you know what I get in this day and age, and cars do fly down here or whatever.
Yo, you've got a couple people.
Dude, the other night.
Was it a white car?
I forget.
Anywho, go ahead.
But yeah, no, cars fly down here.
It's fucking obnoxious,
dude.
Man.
The other night it was like 2:00 in the morning, which no one's on the street. But that is when you would hit somebody because there are a couple old dudes.
Or kill a pet.
Yeah, exactly.
I killed a pet once, and it was terrible. I felt like shit. It was late at night. It was a cat. It wasn't a dog. It was a cat. But
man, cats are quick.
Well, yeah, just the bad time. He ran out onto the road. I was going around a bend. It was in Humeville. It wasn't like in a neighborhood.
That could have been a feral cat.
Well, in any case, I felt terrible.
Yeah.
But at night, I mean,
I slow down for birds.
And I'm never gonna.
You know how like a bird will wait till the last minute. I'm like, I know they're gonna get out of the way, but I'm like,
any animal. If I see it, I don't want to hit it. But
they fly down. I thought I got them to stop. I'm smoking a cigarette on my phone, and I was like, damn, someone's car sounds shitty, and I realized no, they're just going really fast. And I'm like, we're so close to the road. I was like, yo, what the kind of did one of these, and saw stuff. I was like, please, come on, stop. I got it on camera here. If something goes, like I was gonna stay there and get slow the fuck down. I'm in the rights. This is my neighborhood. I got friends with kids and shit in this neighborhood. I was about to be like, dude, I'm gonna be in the right, and I get to fucking. But he was just stopping to turn. But yeah, they fly down, dude. That's not cool.
Yeah, it's really not, and especially because this is a street where there's cars parked on the street, so that's like your classic scenario where someone pops out between cars and you didn't see them coming, little kids and shit.
Especially at night and stuff. You know,
anytime.
Yeah.
I will say when I was delivering packages, there were some moms who would just they couldn't stand you driving more than 10 miles an hour. I got fucking 250 deliveries today. But
that's a fine line to travel, to toss with there. But yeah, when it's just
they were Karens though.
That'll exist. You could have been if you have to reverse too much. They're gonna be like, "Why you're ruining the roads?"
Yeah,
that'll happen anywhere. But yeah, I was excited because I was like, "I'm in the right. This guy's being an asshole," and I didn't even get to see what they look like because I can only assume, but I'm not gonna say it out loud.
I around here, I disagree.
No, I was.
That was a joke.
That was a joke.
Okay.
Joke that didn't land. Ka-ching.
I have noticed Pittsburgh is a fucking motorcycle happy place, and
also where you live.
Yeah, but that's fine. Motorcycles everywhere. That's not where I was going with it. People around here like to do the motorcycle stereo real loud.
Yeah.
On the motorcycle, and it's so fucking obnoxious. Half the time it's some bullshit country music, loud as fuck. Dude, earbuds are cheap.
Well, I was gonna say not only that,
you can't
as cheap as Bluetooth is and everything. There's probably a billion helmets that are $30 that are DOT approved that even have the noise canceling type of thing where you can still hear cars but hear your music.
No, yeah. So which tells you what?
They want attention.
They're motorcycle people.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, and
But this is I never noticed it before. Again, it might be the location of my place, but how many people do the stereo on the motorcycle?
Especially, yeah.
Can you just come on, man? The thing's loud enough.
Yeah, and it's I got new pipes. It's even louder, so I had to put a new stereo in.
Yeah, that is a prime 100% example of someone that just wants to make noise everywhere they go.
And the reason I said location, I did say when we first, I was like, I love the place where you are. When we were looking at it for you, I was like, the only thing is that Knuckleheads across the street, I think they have a motorcycle night once a week when it starts getting nice out. So I was like, that's the only thing I have a problem with. It's I don't hear any fights or anything in the bar, but you're going to get some old white dudes who...
Yeah, and that's fine. Most of that's
well, that's a Saturday, not...
I'll tell you what I have noticed. Some of the fucking loudest, obnoxious cars are just pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off so much. If you got a sweet-ass fucking tuned-up Mustang and it's loud, okay, I get it. But if you got a fucking Civic with different color panels on it, I hope you crash and die. And I don't feel bad saying that.
This is where, and I think it might just be anywhere where there's a suburb, but Levittown, I'll say it out loud, not a fan of you guys.
No, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Sure.
But those where I always called them Lego cars. They'd all get a Honda Civic, and they get the VTEC, and basically once you hit 50 miles an hour, it goes, pzing, and I'm like, that's, did you hear it?
Yeah.
But, they'll put a spoiler on it, and then they'll put an aftermarket stereo in there.
It's the fucking...
And it just vibrates a bass that sucks. And they would just hang out that Wendy's parking lot because they had nothing else going on.
Well,
I have no problem saying
it's
that.
Just
and my age group
for sure
was perfect for it. And all they would do is put a fucking... It's like, dude, you're driving a Honda Civic. I don't care if it's a manual.
Nobody cares.
The Buick Riviera would have beaten that thing.
That's the whole thing is nobody gives a shit. But I have it innately in me. Anything that I do or a purchase I'm going to make or any kind of anything like that, I review in my own head, is this some follower bullshit? Is this something that other people do just to do what other people do? And that sounds a little fucking like I'm self-congratulatory or anything. But, dude...
Why do you want to be a nuisance to other
people? The loud
people?
exhausts on these cars... Yeah, exactly. Why do you want to fucking be obnoxious?
Yeah, you're like, I hear you from a mile away, and then you show up, and I'm like, oh, you spent $9,000 on that car? I don't get why you wanted attention.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah,
You don't look cool. Even, dude, honestly, even a nice car if you've paid extra money to make it louder, I don't like you.
Well,
I don't like you.
Well, if you're driving around like a fucking Stingray or something, but they naturally.
But they're supposed to be loud because you don't have to buy an exhaust to make them loud. They got a badass high power.
And actually,
engine.
a lot of times, some of those things aren't that loud because they're like a perfectly tuned engine and shit.
That's the thing. In this modern era, you can have a powerful vehicle that's not loud. That's supposed to be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But no, these people go out of their way to make their cars louder.
Like if my truck was, and it's nothing special. There's no aftermarket anything, just normal Ram 1500. If that was any louder, I would have like maybe second guessed buying it. And it's not that loud at all.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? Like,
but I know, but that's because you're a normal person.
Because we have people we know that would put an exhaust in that truck.
Nobody's impressed, man.
Yeah, because it's one that's like you're spending money to be loud. I get now. Grant, we're not car people, but I don't see how a louder exhaust makes your car any better,
cooler. No, it's just like you said. It's a nuisance.
Now, if you said, "Oh, this made my car 10 miles an hour faster," I'd be like, "Okay," but I don't think it does that.
No, it doesn't. But we wouldn't know it was so we believe them.
Yeah.
We'd be like, oh.
But still, your Honda Civics, just calm down. It was meant to be an affordable car for a family.
That's the
epitome.
The major sin is like you don't even have a cool car and you put a loud exhaust on it. Can you just come on, dude?
Could you just come on, man?
Please.
Those are people that aren't going to be all right, Steven. I don't think so, unless they change their ways.
The problem is they are going to be all right.
Yeah, you're right. Damn it.
There's a lot of these people. I could never imagine a car driving past me being loud as shit and me being like, "Damn, I want that."
That's where, and I stopped saying because I was beating it up and I stole from somewhere else. But that's when someone drives by and I go, "Could you save some pussy for the rest of us, guy?"
Yeah, exactly. Like the lift kits on the trucks, that kind of shit. And now, the other thing that is like people that have Instagram accounts just to show off their tattoos.
Tattoo. I was gonna say, and
it's like,
have you noticed some cars, and you'll see those Honda Civics that has tinted windows, and they make decals of their fucking Twitter, like on the back window will be their Twitter, and I'm like, what are you doing that people you think want to see?
We live in that kind of world, though. I mean, shit, you get a couple viral videos, suddenly you got people reaching out to sponsor you.
I guess,
but
that's why we stick to our roots.
What? Just I don't like the follower shit. It immediately turns me off.
Yeah,
immediately turns me off. People getting a second job just so they can get a sleeve, you know what I mean? Because that's.
Listen, I there's been so many times where I'll be watching something, I go, dude, I want to get a leg sleeve so bad, and when I see good tattoo artwork, I'm like, that's fucking impressive. But I'm not.
The artistry is very impressive.
I'm not going to do a Twitter account for it. I'm going to do it because I was like, I want to fucking get the Philly skyline on my leg.
You know the kind of people I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know some of them personally.
Hot girls. You're pretty. You don't need to get a bunch of tattoos. That immediately says to me, and who gives a fuck what I think, but to me, that means your personality is.
Well, that's what I was going to. These are just all personalities that. They didn't have anything else, or they saw someone else they wanted to recreate.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, some of these girls with the tats, like it looks good, but
this is
it still says something about their personality.
If you get a tattoo and you put it on your personal Twitter or Facebook or something, that's different. I'm talking about the people that their name is like Chrissy Tattoo, and
especially if you don't do tattooing.
Yeah,
like you shouldn't be able to create a following and a modicum of wealth just by getting tattoos. Right?
You also only got a finite space to work with. You better hope that shit kicks up early.
Like when you used to see like this back in the day. Remember that guy who had like a full leopard?
The snake guy?
There's a snake guy too. But there's
a couple of them now.
They were like Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, that was
freaks.
on. Yeah, they would get they got 4 TV spots, and that's all they got.
Now, it's okay that they made a little money off going that hardcore with the tattoos.
Before it was like even...
Yeah, like that's a real statement. Get your tongue severed into a Y.
It's crazy how many tattoo shows there are.
Television shows?
Television shows, too. There's not even... I'm sure there's a billion YouTube series about it, but like, I mean, there's like a... The Ink one was cool where they compete. because at least you know it's a little competition. You're seeing shit quick, but you see the ones where it's like L.A. Inc. and it's like Real Housewives with tattoo because they fight. They're like, you're not good at it. I'm gonna kick you out of the chair, and it's like
people love that shit. But that just is that's really the thing that like it says to, like if tattooing is your identity, getting tattooed, it's like
yeah, if you're good, that's because that's the difference of saying I'm a good artist and I take pride in my work and I put this on people that are gonna be there forever. Versus I pay a dude who's really good at something so I can maybe try and make a social media account off of it.
That should give me a better social credit score because I got this tattoo. It's like no, nobody gives a fuck. Literally, more people give a fuck about your loud car than your tattoos. Nobody is like, oh, that really. I get where you're going with that. Oh, you're blessed.
Yeah.
Oh, you have blessed tattoo. That's really neat. That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish I was blessed.
There was a.
How'd you get blessed?
It's still going on a little bit. It's trailing off, but the I think they called it the chandelier, but it was the under boob tattoo. It would like outline the under boobs. That was cool on Instagram for a while. I liked seeing those. It accentuated the boobies.
But boobs are nice by themselves.
Well, yeah, that was a reason for them to. There was no nipple, but it was, classy.
It's like the housewife with nipple piercings. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure your husband really is like, that's what did it for me, was her nipple piercings. That's why I love her.
I was losing interest till she got her nipples pierced.
Yeah. So
maybe she just did it for herself.
Listen, if that is, you do it for
Rachel,
yourself.
you know the kind of people we're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But no, if you do it for yourself, and like that's same way. Like if I want to get a tattoo, I'm getting it because like I want it, and I think it's gonna be. But
I want to make very clear, I am not anti-tattoo.
No,
it's the people
that turn into a personality.
That's their identity. That's what's interesting about them. Like no one gives a fuck. I don't like things that I don't give a fuck about. That's what I'm trying to say. You know.
And another thing.
Yeah, I got plenty more.
Should we smoke break probably?
Check out our bonus segment, Smoke Break, only on Patreon.
All right, back from smoke break, which you can see on our Patreon, and we're gonna be giving you more out there on there. If you're gonna pay for products, we're gonna make sure it's golden.
The early era of the Patreon is gonna be just like spitball, different things.
And we're going to, give me some ideas. We'll try. If don't work out, whatever. But you get to see a little bit behind the scenes, which is, I think, that's always my favorite part of things. The reason I pay for the Patreons I do is you get to see them let their hair down a little bit.
You love those guys.
I love those guys.
Which is that you're a loyal fucking listener.
I do.
That's what they do it for, you know?
Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast and Are You Garbage, H. Foley, Ryan. Man, I want to see those guys. But
for the record, I started you on
you did
Garbage, so.
And it was because I got it's funny because when he first showed it to me, I was like, I recognize him, but they're just all it's funny, all the guys I love are like originally Philly kind of comics and stuff.
I mean, everybody knows most of the good comics are in the Northeast, or at least that's where they get their start.
Yeah,
and I don't think people are like going to L.A. like they used to.
People are moving out. I'll tell you what.
I'm sure it's still a good place to get acting gigs.
There's I watch so much of it. There's some, rumors that some of my favorite guys could be possibly going down to Texas for Joe Rogan's.
The mothership.
The club apparently is the best setup that there is.
It took him longer than I thought it would to get that thing up and running.
Yeah, he apparently put his time into it. It's not just one room and stuff. And they apparently they did it and came in. They were like, no, we want the stage smaller, and like gutted it and redid it again. Good. He's got the money, so if you're going to do it right.
So what, you say people are going to move down there just to go to the mothership?
Well, traveling comic, these guys are on the road. It don't matter where they're stationed. But, some of these dudes, they're like, I'm tired of New York.
Oh, I could see just being tired of New York for a while.
Yeah, like I have money and I still live in a crap apartment with roaches and stuff.
Hey, you see that? What do you think about that? I hope that you are familiar with this. You see that Marine that fucking choked that dude out on the subway and killed him?
Oh, yeah, because the guy was being, like, unruly or whatever?
Yeah, he was, like, getting aggressive with people. He didn't mean to kill him, but...
I did, yeah.
Yeah. They're having protests and shit in New York, saying that, dude, people throw the word lynching around way too often, and it's really, it's not a lynching.
I'll be honest, I
Okay.
haven't gotten to see footage of the guy being too crazy. I've only seen a clip of basically him just rear naked choking
well,
him.
because people don't start recording until there's an altercation for real. But this guy has, the guy had like 42 arrests in New York City. Like, he's a known.
The guy that got choked out.
Yeah, he's a known problem.
And I've never been on New York City subway and stuff. I've heard enough stories. I'm not surprised that guy was doing some crazy ballistic shit.
And he had like a history of mental illness and all that shit. Dude, 99% of people that are public nuisance in one way or another have mental illness issues.
I've been
so we should start thinking of ways to treat these people, or
I'll tell you what, I watch these a lot of
do
times.
something with them.
We've been watching Game of Thrones. Rachel goes to bed, and I don't want to get ahead. So like, and I get the feed of it comes from Facebook because that's where you get long videos. Like there'll be like 15-minute ones on like Instagram and stuff. It's usually no longer than like a minute 30. The one guy specifically, but there's a couple of just them helping out homeless dudes or homeless people, and he'll just roll up and like the one guy. He'll just hand them a letter or like a little note to be like, you're worth it, don't give up, and there'll be like $500 in there or something, and then he'll just run away. But the one dude, like, he'll go up, and I think he kind of assesses it, and he's very soft-spoken, like, I obviously probably doing it on purpose, and like, what can I help you out with today? And sometimes it is just, I haven't had a Big Mac in weeks, I've been craving a Big Mac, but sometimes, like, he'll be like, why don't you come with me, let's go to Walmart, and dude, get him tents, sleeping bags, chargers, pairs of clothes and stuff. Like I think he can kind of realize like who just is like a little, who will this benefit you if I spend a bunch of money on you, or let me just feed you for a day type of thing. But it's got me thinking I want to do something to the extent of that. And the one guy who gives away a lot of stuff, he's been doing it for a while, so we have supporters and stuff that'll donate, especially just sometimes the biggest, like I need minutes for my cell phone, or people kick me out every time I try to charge my phone, so like just the wireless charger will like be like, dude, you just saved my life, kind of. But it's been like I've been sitting there, I've been watching, man, I'm like, dude, this would be so easy for me just to he'll like just make bags with like baby wipes, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, and some an XL t-shirt and some underwear and socks. I'm like, I could do that, keep it in my truck, and if I see someone, I would make my week, I think.
Doesn't it kind of? Oh, you're saying like, are you saying for content?
No, not for my own self.
Okay.
Because like there's sometimes I see people where I'm like, and that the cynical in me will go like, I
don't see any homeless people around here at all.
I especially with driving to work and the certain, I don't know how the fuck they even get there. Like I'm talking like highway bridges, that one bridge and shit.
This is a terrible area to be homeless.
I know, but sometimes like when I see someone like 24, it's like mid-20s, and they're fully dressed and they have a backpack, and I'm like, I feel bad, but I'm like, I'm not gonna make eye contact, kind of, because I don't want to feel. And we've given away crackers, bottles of water, and stuff. But like the one place we used to go, the Juncture, there was a homeless veteran there, and on his sign he had a picture of his military badge, and I was like, if I had that backpack with just some stuff and gave that to him with a tenner or a 20, that would make me feel good for a week, I think.
It should, yeah. I mean, shit, giving a homeless person a new backpack alone is like, that's a huge come up, dude.
And where this guy goes, they're everywhere, and they just rob each other. They steal each other's tents.
I know.
It's crazy. Like around here, I'm sure.
Not around. You're saying like what you see
on there, yeah. And he's probably like in LA. He seems to travel.
Yeah. Well, there's certain hubs where there's like homeless communities, like big. I mean, that's not around here, but there's.
That's what I mean. Like, because when you see the one-off person here, I do like mental illness is probably 90% of. If you're homeless in Pittsburgh, bro,
you're probably crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't want to go to the shelters because they're almost sometimes more like worse things can happen.
Are there like shelters and shit around here?
I'm sure. I haven't seen them, but yeah, it would be impossible not to. Maybe not around here, but in city.
Because,
You know.
like I've always said, Pittsburgh is like downtown. It's not very. There's not a lot of people that live in downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's all people mostly live on the.
Well, and also I guess I would say, you don't do nightlife, or not that I do anymore, but like, you don't go to the metropolitan area, so there are homeless people. Like the one where the point is, it is kind of a park in the middle of Pittsburgh where I'm sure tents get popped up at night.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
And under the bridges. I had a buddy that was a cop, and every once in a while, like, their job would be to go under these bridges and just take down their tents and shit. And he was like, I felt it was like the worst.
Yeah, it's a terrible job. It really is. That's the kind of shit that makes me like, I could never be a cop.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that.
But, I mean, because there are problems. Like, luckily in Pittsburgh, we don't have a crazy problem. But, yeah, you hear on the West Coast, the laws about being able to even kick homeless people off the curb and shit. Like,
well, yeah, there's a level where when it's just an open air drug market and most of those people are only homeless because they just are out and about getting high. It becomes really disgusting.
Yeah.
People just shitting on the street. I mean, you can't have that.
Yeah.
You can't.
Just a homeless person trying to get a couple bucks to get a hotel and stuff is different than you have needle marks being like $5 isn't enough.
Well, what it creates too is a situation like places like LA where like it's not once you have tent cities popping up, it becomes too comfortable in a way to be homeless. Like you don't want to encourage that.
We've watched enough those documentaries where people are like, I don't want it.
I'm fine here.
Yeah, like I have it great, and I get to just use my drugs. I just get enough money.
Right.
Now that's going to end eventually, but for 5 years, I don't even want money from the government or anything. I don't want to get put in a place. I go next door to this tent, and that's where I get my drugs.
And in a lot of these cities too, like they're not even really prosecuting petty theft and shit at all.
What is it?
So
I think in California, I could be wrong, not a smart person. As long as you steal less than $1,000, they can't even arrest you.
Yeah, it's insane. What do you think is going to happen? Does that make us bigots to feel that way?
I think it's going to blow up eventually. We can't.
I was being sarcastic. Obviously, we're not bigots. I mean, but
no, I'm not obviously not. I'm just saying, like, there's no way. Eventually, laws are gonna have to be put in place. Like the people that are. I don't even know. I don't want to go down that lane because I don't know. But you can't be having people shit on sidewalks in public places,
especially when it's so expensive to live there. That's why people are fleeing, because it doesn't equal out. You know what I mean? Like, everything's expensive. Real estate's crazy, like in San Francisco and shit. I mean, fuck that.
You know what I learned the other day? What I heard, and just to paraphrase kind of, it happens in Paris and a lot of the big cities where these huge developments that are like the super expensive apartments or condos or high rises and stuff that are empty because no one can afford. There's not enough people that can afford those. Mm-hmm. A lot of money laundering happens that way. So they don't even care that these aren't the people that are owning these don't necessarily care that they're that. I know it's that way in Paris, definitely for political reasons or whatever, but they don't care to fill these things because like money laundering and stuff. We're reconstruction in these things and can hide money for a lot of big players.
There's not much money to be made in low income housing.
And because no one's going to go, let's take this high rise, split it, divide it in half, and now we can have affordable family living. That'll never happen in places like New York.
No, not when the real estate's worth so much money. It's hard. I mean, shit, even dumpy places don't like to fucking rent to people on vouchers and shit.
Although it's, and this is once again from H. Foley, he lives in like finally got some money, living in a decent apartment, but a lot of those places, there's a whole, he said his place, there's a whole floor, like fourth floor, that is like for Title IX, but they're not allowed to use the front entry. Facility. They have to come in through like the service entry, which I'm glad that they have to do. Like, these people have to live somewhere. But, it's like, no, we have a place to live, but you can't come to the front. You gotta go to the back.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But if I'm paying
No, I get it.
If I'm paying $4,000 a month for
I think there is a tipping point though, where it's like when you see these spectacles in Seattle and shit, where it's like, okay, I get that this is a Western democracy and a capitalist market, and this that, like, you need some government intervention sometime to do something about this, because if it's left just to the market, these people will just stay on the streets. And it'll just get worse and worse and worse.
I got a political campaign. Take a place like whatever the lowest populated that's not farmland. So take a place like
Detroit.
Yeah, shit, they already have the structures there. They just got to put the copper wires back in the thing. But no, like take a place, Utah's too cold. Take a Midwest place like that and turn it into
Utah's not that cold.
No.
But anyway, go ahead.
Take a place with a lot of land that it's not for farming because we got to protect our farms. Just build a shit ton of Levittown houses. Who cares? They're cheap. And turn that into the Title IX state. And then just start, if you're Title IX, you want a full house, you live in New York, you got 3 kids, we'll pay your ticket there, and now you live in Utah. On
the surface, it's totally untenable, but I get where you're going.
We spent $17 billion in Ukraine. If we take 4 of that, we can make that happen.
Right. When you start getting into the billions and trillions of wasted taxpayer money that goes to things nobody voted for or wants, you could do so much with that money. It's ridiculous. But I mean,
then you can start.
Nobody's gonna have.
Then you can start businesses out of it. Then you have people there, of these places people don't live, unpopulated, and you go here, you have to work at least, if you're able-bodied, 30 hours a week at this is where we process, I don't know, something.
Well,
T-shirts.
That's the thing. You need so much infrastructure. You need a police force. You got a bunch of Title IX people that don't have any income, so there's no tax revenue. Like,
it would start, losing money. But you know what you do? What's Elon Musk says, I forget how much, but I think he said like 500 acres. He could power the whole U.S. with solar panel. Make these people you live here, you're a solar power cleaner. Yeah. You just got to keep the dust off of it and keep the animals away.
Hey, listen, I am all for progressive ideas.
Eugene Labordi, 2024, running for president.
Maybe there's something there. But the biggest issue is that in America, you're not allowed to make people move and shit. Yeah. And half these people are crazy. They really are. Or drug addicted. There's this guy running for the Republican Party, Vivek Ramaswamy. He's an Indian dude who's made billions in biotech. So he's got fuck you money. And he wants to, he's really trying to win this thing. But he wants to use the U.S. military to fucking go fight the cartels in Mexico. And, we do all this other shit in Europe and whatnot. But we leave it to the Mexicans to fight these cartels, and they're all in bed with each other.
That's what I was going to say.
I kind of like the idea.
That's when you see that behind the veil, America, people who make a lot of money don't want that.
Don't want what?
They don't want the cartels to go away.
No, he wants to use the U.S. Basically, he wants to say, listen, Mexico, this fentanyl is destroying our society. If you don't start to really fight these cartels properly, we are going to intervene.
No, I know what you're saying. And that's him being like, that's good. I agree with him. Mm-hmm. But the people that are behind, I think, the conspiracy in me is like, I don't think super rich people want that to happen. I think the cartels help them.
Well, in Mexico, definitely.
And in America. I mean, we have a whole drug force that...
Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of... But
I would be down for it.
If he did win the presidency with the executive order, you can get a lot of stuff done. He also wants to completely shut down the Department of Education, shut down the FBI. Like he's certainly going for it all in one.
Why the education? Well, I don't. That's a whole nother.
I mean, yeah, that's a whole episode on like the ESG shit and the critical race theory and all that. Like,
that's taking a back door to the fucking the trans and sexual fluidity of teachers. Like, I see things that I don't want a kid right now. If I had a kid in elementary school, I would be really paying attention what the fuck was going on in his classroom.
Yeah, it's funny too because you see all this stuff and you're like, these are outliers. Like, but then you see like in San Francisco, they're actually like the city council, whoever has approved payments to people of color, like for $1.2 million each for reparations, and it's like, in a world where that makes sense to anybody, none of these people were slaves. And none of the taxpayers own slaves, so how can that even be a thing?
Yeah, I have no idea.
That just happened like 2 days ago.
Yeah, my thing is just with the, kids thinking they're boys and girls, and it's like, you're 5, dude. You also want to be a astronaut ninja. Could we just wait till they're 18 at least?
Yeah. But apparently there weren't these.
We can be ninjas.
You're allowed to be a ninja.
I'm being a ninja.
But the amount of businesses that have opened up to help young people transition, there was like 2 of them in the country until like 10 years ago, and now they're just everywhere. So once there's a lot of money to be made, I didn't realize how
they can't do, and
I didn't realize how expensive it was.
They have no studies on these drugs, dude. This shit's been around just for a little bit.
I guess
if I wanted to open a B12 supplement drink that I swear this is going to help you have energy, you don't need caffeine, it would take me 8 years to get FDA approved.
Yeah.
But
unless you grease
take
the
this in your
pockets of someone at the FDA.
Yeah, and then we'll cut your boobies off. Let's go a little bit lighthearted. I had 2 things written down here. Now we're different because I'm very picky with bagels. Does your bagel have to be toasted?
No, not if it's a good bagel. A good bagel doesn't need to be toasted.
Like a fresh bagel.
Yeah, you don't need to toast that.
But like, what if you get Brugger's? You get a half dozen, and day 2, will you definitely toast that bagel?
Yeah, once it's not like real gooey kind of and soft. Yeah, for sure.
Now, do you need brown on there? Do you need what's your toast level?
Just browns.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like a hard toast.
How much on a scale 1 to 10?
I never eat bagels though.
Yeah.
I eat thin bagels.
And I fucking hate thin bagels.
Which is crazy. It's the same fucking thing.
No, well,
it's
you know what?
Literally the same exact
thing.
The
thin bagels we were getting were Thomas, and I fucking hate Thomas bagels. There is a seasoning in there that is gross.
Okay.
I'm fuck Thomas bagels. I don't know what you're putting in there. Stop it.
You should consider the thin bagel.
I should. I'm not just pounding bagels every day. I'm very cautious of my bagel intake.
Okay.
On vacation, that's different. I had a bagel, 3 days in a row.
Yeah, I need a bagel.
But I wanted something in my stomach for the,
I was pissed that I didn't eat those fucking
Pringles?
No.
I ate those.
The Chobani flips. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. When we got home, it was expanded a little bit. Like I could see.
Yeah, but I'm hardcore, bro. I the other day I made a baked potato, a big ass potato. It covered a whole paper plate, and I like butter, salt, pepper, some sour cream, and I could only eat half of it because I made something else with it, and I fucking just left that sit on the counter, and the next morning. Sour cream. I don't even give a shit. I don't even give a shit. And guess what?
You're fine. Hey, listen. I think the world is they overdo the safety of expiration dates and things.
People are just afraid of everything.
Certain things like pizza. Rachel's always like, you're a little crazy, But I'll we grew up putting the pizza box in the oven. Mm-hmm. That to me, no problem. 3 days, then it starts drying out, and I'm cool.
Right. But okay. But yes, it starts drying out, but it doesn't become toxic to eat.
No, I won't. Well, let's be honest. Pizzas weren't lasting 3 days in our house.
True. Yeah, that's true.
But certain things, dairies, like I am very I will throw a sour cream out that you probably would eat, and it's like. there was too much separation of the moisture.
No, I hear you. Sour cream specifically can get really gross.
When we came home from the trip, I was going to bring it. I forgot that I ate some of it. But there was probably like 2 spoonfuls of the Cozy Shack. And when I picked it up, it was like bubbling. Like the container was expanded. And when I opened it up, dude, there was black.
Was it not in the refrigerator?
It was, but like it was probably 3 weeks old.
Okay, yeah.
And like enough where it hasn't been opened where like when I opened it up, I took a peek and I threw it out immediately.
Yeah. Well, the thing about anything dairy is once it starts to turn, it turns quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also if you had a nice roll and just a corner of it had a little tiny mold on it, would you pick that off and use the rest of the roll?
If I didn't have another roll and I really want to roll, yeah. Okay. Shit. So I've taken cheese that had a few spots of mold on it on the outside because cheese is mold anyway.
But that almost adds to it that I'm like, this mold got mold on it. Hey, do you? You're saving money. That's better than what I do.
I just do, it's almost kind of like it's like a challenge. It's like, am I going to throw this out? No.
No, good for you. And listen, that has how the world has ran for so long. I'm just, I guess I'm pussyfooted. I grew up with a
refrigerator,
fridge and food didn't last. That we didn't throw too much out in our house, really.
The line I won't cross is like if I make a bowl of cereal and don't finish it, I won't eat that the next morning.
Oh yeah, well, because then it's just mush.
Then it's just mush. Yeah.
And even if it's not bad, it's like cereal's not that expensive.
This isn't what I wanted. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did. It happened twice to me now, and I'm a little afraid of it. We've talked about how I'm not a sweet eater. I've been trimming down on my drinking. I've been,
good,
trying to get healthier-ish. But in the last week and a half, I fell asleep for 3 hours, woke up, and it was me taking my sleep apnea mask off, and I was like, yo, I know I got cereal downstairs. 2 times now I've woken up and went and down. It was a small bowl.
Cereal is a great fucking spot.
And and it was perfect too because I had frosted mini wheats. And for some reason,
I have those right now too. They're so good,
dude. Because I was like, I don't want super sweet because I still have those fucking cheesecake roll. The
the strawberry shortcakes.
Dude, one bite is too much. And I went downstairs and looked at it. I was like, that is too much. And I seen the cereal and I was like, and it's nice because I have the oat milk now. And I can drink that and not get sick. So it is nice. And it was seriously 5-6 pieces. And as soon as I ate that, I was like a baby. I was barely making up the steps. My eyes were closed. I was like, I'm so tired right now.
So you think because you cut back on drinking, you're getting a sweet tooth at night?
I just think I'm not just passed out sleeping.
Okay. Yeah.
But maybe also on those 2 nights, I had a pretty light dinner. Just, I just was kind of snacking. I woke up late, so we didn't have a heavy dinner. But I woke up, I was like, I'm hungry, and cereal sounds really good right now.
Plus, when your mouth is dry and shit, ice cold milk.
It hit the spot, and seriously, 5-6 pieces, little milk. Dude, I was going up the steps, I fell into bed. That was nice.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're a midnight snacker now.
I'm hoping I don't. I'm fighting the urge to.
Well, if you cut back on the drinking, you can have more calories in delicious cereal.
True.
Don't give him a reason.
No. And usually, with me with sleep, I was surprised I even woke up.
Yeah.
To be honest. Also, I had to pee, too. But I think what it was just weird timing. I slept till 6 o'clock that night, which isn't that weird for me sometimes on my days off. And then I just had I didn't eat dinner. I just
picked. Yeah,
I just had 2 kind of bigger snacks. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put myself to bed before, because we're watching Game of Thrones, so I don't have, I'm not putting on a whole movie or something afterwards.
I can't believe you guys are going back through Game of Thrones.
We started it,
I mean, it's a great show.
I never finished it. It's nice. I haven't seen the last 3 seasons.
Okay. Hey.
So I started 4, and then, at season 5, because I was watching at the store, I've kind of like filled Rachel in, which is impossible with that show.
There's a lot going on.
But enough where she knows what's going on. Every once in a while, Paul's, I'm like, he killed her back. That's why they hate each other. But yeah, it is nice just to have, for like 2 weeks, we didn't have to pick a show.
Oh, it's the best. It really is the best.
And then knowing, and I know you said it was just okay, but now that I'm watching, I'll watch Mother of Dragons. Is that what that show's called?
Yeah.
House of Dragons.
House of
That was
is that a
good.
prequel or is it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a prequel.
it's a prequel. It was,
But it's
I mean,
Targaryens.
yeah, it was good. But I mean, Game of Thrones is like, it's going to be hard to get there.
But it's nice. Like I know when this ends, I'll have another full season.
I can't wait to talk about the ending once you get there.
Yeah, that show is. I'm 7 years late to it, but that Game of Thrones, man, they'll kill off anybody, and you get to see some nice.
We should have
boobies.
talked about the fucking Wolfpack documentary.
I haven't finished it yet.
Oh,
When I finish it, we'll
how
talk
did you not
about.
finish it?
Because I turned it on when Rachel went to bed, and then I'm on my phone, and then I'm like, it's like 3 o'clock. I'm like, I gotta go to bed.
Okay.
But I will finish it. I have.
I mean, it's not like a banger, but it's a really interesting.
that we will. I'll write it down in big.
People probably have no idea that these kind of people exist, and they're my favorite documentary.
That, and we have talked because it's. I like those documentaries where it's usually low quality of like camera work of just the people in the world that
Strange.
you would never come across, and what's the word I'm looking for of it, like character study or something like that.
They're character studies. I've described them as fascinating pockets of humanity. People that you would never even think would exist.
Especially these people.
Let's just lay it out real quick so people know.
Get you
a
hooked
little
for
bit.
next episode.
There are 6 brothers in a.
And 3 sisters, I think.
Now there's one sister.
Oh.
There's one sister. She has something wrong with her, like Down syndrome or something, and 2 parents. So 9 people live in a very normal, if not small, apartment in Lower Manhattan.
I believe it's 3 bedrooms.
They never say, but
From looking at, but yeah, go ahead.
but anywho, these people never leave the apartment, and the brothers, literally, their dad wouldn't let them leave the apartment.
Homeschooled.
Homeschooled.
They all grow their hair crazy long. Like they don't cut their hair. They all
Don't
have
they look inbred, kind of?
that. You know what they look like in the Thompson brothers. If you're a lacrosse player, you know them. They kind of look like that, but they're super native. But regardless, they don't leave the house except like a couple times in their life at this point, and all they do is watch movies.
It warps reality for them, and because there's a group of them, it's really interesting to see the dynamics and what they do with their time and their view of what the outside world is. Really, the Wolfpack on Prime.
We'll when I finish it, we'll dive deeper into it. One last thing we'll end because we're gonna. How are we on time? End soon? Yeah. Okay, I'll save this for later. But one thing, Sixers are in the playoffs right now. Big comeback. I think it's going to go 7 games.
Yeah.
Let's hope they do it. I need more basketball. The Phillies have been, I don't know. I'm a little butthurt on sports right now. I'm not going to lie. I think I was riding a high for so long of the Eagles doing good and being like, we're going to have sweet-ass teams. Yeah, Sixers are in the playoffs. Phillies have been hurting my spirit a little bit.
It's a long season.
It is. They're
It's
getting
a long
better.
season. But shit, we've had playoff runs in all our major sports. Like, there's nothing to complain about.
You're right. I shouldn't.
Just sucks that the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl.
That would have probably
But we had a
changed.
great draft. I wanted to do a homesick episode on the draft. We had a way better draft than I saw coming, especially coming off a Super Bowl appearance.
The best draft out of any team. I don't care. I know there's people. It's funny when you see all these, especially Barstool, because they're Chicago fans and New York and shit, and it's like the draft. They're always like the draft grading doesn't mean anything, and they'll be like, in 2008 they had a D rating and got these 3 players. It's like you're picking the one fucking example, dude. I was like, you're right. It doesn't write off. You never know what these players are going to do. But we just got like 2 of the best defensive players
And it's not like it's only people.
And we had 12 picks and we moved up. Like, shut up, dude. We were really good.
There's a lot of analysts that have nothing to do with Philadelphia who say the Eagles had the best draft. Plus, we got DeAndre Swift for like a 7th round pick.
Coming back home, baby.
Building another one. So, yeah. Rookie mini camp's going on right now.
I want the summer to stay around because we got to get out golfing, but at the same time, I miss football so much.
So does America.
Yeah, because we don't have a good Sunday show. Like with
and fuck spring football.
You know, we had
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. That was our Sunday get together. Maybe we'll do Taco Tuesday until we find something.
Okay.
We're gonna tacos tonight.
Word.
I went hard shell this time.
That's fine.
Because I haven't had them in a while, and if I make it and eat it right away, I got bigger ones so we can stuff them a little bit more.
I like the stuff.
I think they were called stuffed. Spelled goofy.
Word.
But this has been You Be Aight podcast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I'm Gene Labordi, my co-host, my brother, Stephen Labordi, and Rachel doing all the hard work. She moved a whole futon by herself for this studio. So if that doesn't show love and dedication, I don't know what does. She does all the editing, even when she was sick. It's been You Be Aight podcast. Love you guys.
Love y'all.
Peace.